Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm audible to you. Yes, good evening, everyone. My voice is audible to you. Okay, we'll start the session. Before that, let me just revise what we have discussed in our last session. So, in our last session, we have discussed about the profile. Yes. So, on that day, we discussed if users are logging from same machine, different users, they should not see, one user should not see other user data. So what we can do in that case, just ask the user not to write the data in their drive, but instead of drive, they should write in their personal setting folder. So these personal setting folder, which will be created default. So that is called local profile. So what is the advantage with local profile? Whenever user writes the data in their personal setting folder, one user cannot see other user data if other user also log in from the same machine. But disadvantage is if that user log in from other machine, that same user cannot see his own data from other machine. So because the data in local profile will be stored on the machine on which the user was sitting. So to avoid this problem, we have to go for the roaming profile. So today we'll start our session with roaming profile. So local profile will be created default by the OS, whereas the roaming profile has to be created by the administrator. And here the user's data will be stored on server. In the local profile, the user data will be stored on which machine the user was sitting on that. But here the user data will be stored on the server. So what is the advantage with that? When the user log in from any machine, the data will be stored on server. So what is the advantage of that? So when the user log in from any machine and make any changes, that changes will be stored on the server. So what is the advantage with that? That user can able to access his data from any machine. So here, what is the main advantage with the what is the main advantage with local roaming profile? In the roaming profile, which administrator has to create. So user's data stores on a server when user writes, when the user writes, when the user writes their data on their personal setting folder, on their personal setting folder. So in roaming profile also, we have to write the user's data in their personal setting folder. But only, but here the data will be stored on the server when the user writes their data on their personal setting folder. So now this profile will be available to the user on any computer from this network because the changes whatever the users is doing through the roaming profile is stored on the server. So the user can able to access his data from any machine. So what is the advantage with the roaming profile? What is the advantage with the roaming profile? One user cannot see here also other users data, but at the same time that user login from any machine, he can able to access his data, not others data, but their data. That particular user login from whichever machine, he can able to access his data from any machine. That is the advantage with the that is the advantage with the roaming profile. So what is the advantage with the roaming profile? So what is the advantage with the roaming profile? So here one user cannot cannot or can't see other user data, same like local profile. One user cannot see other user data, and and also that same user, that same user can access his data from any machine. When you log in from any machine, from any system. In roaming profile, if a user log in from any machine, he can access his data from any machine. And he can see his own data from any machine. Others cannot see his data. One user cannot see other user data in roaming profile. But that same user, if we log in from any machine, can able to access his data from any machine, because the data will be stored here in the server, not on the machines on which the user was sitting. So this is the difference between local profile and roaming profile. So which profile is better according to you? Tell me. Local profile or roaming profile? Which one is the best? Yes, roaming profile. So in every company, we uses only roaming profile. No company uses local profile. So who will create the local profile? No one will create. Like work group model, no one will create. Work group model will be created default. Same way local profile created default. But in that disadvantage is one user cannot see other user data. That is the advantage. But that same user log in from other machine, he cannot see his own data from other machine. So to overcome that problem, we have roaming profile. So roaming profile has to be created by admin. How to create? Today we'll see that practically. Once the administrator create the roaming profile, when the user log in from any machine and write their data on their personal setting folder, the user's data will be stored on the server, that is on the DC. So what is the advantage with that? One user cannot see other user data, but at the same time, if that user log in from any machine, he can see his data from any machine. So this is the advantage with the roaming profile. So in every company we uses only roaming profile, not local profile. Now let us see here how to configure as the administrator roaming profile. So what is the advantage here? The user's data will be stored on the server. So if that user log in from any machine, he can able to access his data from any machine. But for that, roaming profile has to be created by admin. And that is one condition. And second, the user need to write the data when they log in from any machine. They need to write the data on their personal setting folder only. Then only the user's data will be stored on server, so that user login from any machine can access his data from any machine. Okay, I hope you understood. Let's start with the practical now. So let's start with the practical. Okay, so let's start now. So here, while the machine get on, we can see the practical step file. So today we are discussing which practical? Roaming profile. So for that, in the DC machine, create one new folder with any name, make it as a share folder, empty share folder, because here the user's data will come. So already we applied the local profile to existing users. So create some new users, then select that users, then apply the roaming profile on that user with the help of the share folder. Okay, so once the user log in from any machine and writes the data on their personal setting folder, their user data will be stored on the server. Okay, so this is about your roaming profile. Let me show you. Now this is my DC machine. So let's first create the share folder. So I'll go to my DC machine here. How to check? Go to the command prompt, type it net space accounts. So it is showing primary. So it is my DC machine. Okay, so let me go to the E drive, create one folder here with any name. So I'm doing the practical roaming. So for simplicity, I'm creating a folder with the name roaming. It doesn't mean that folder name should be this. You can use any name. Then make it as a share folder. We have discussed in the share level permission, how to make share folder. Select the folder, right click, third option, share with specific people. Here, select everyone, then click on add, give read write permission to everyone. Don't use read permission, give read write. Click on share. Done. Share folder is created. Now go to the ADUC console. Now to apply the roaming profile, go to the server manager console. From there, go to the tools, open the ADUC console, because the domain users will be working from here. So these users, I already applied the local profile. So we need to apply roaming profile, means we should have fresh users, new users. In the real time, we will never apply the local profile. So that's why I'm creating some new users. So I'll be showing you how to create a roaming profile for one user, that is single user, and multiple. That's why I'm creating multiple users without password. So I created one user, R1. Now I'm creating R2. I'm creating the user without password so that it will be easy for me to log in. So while creating only, don't give any password and uncheck this box so that again you don't have to change the password. So I have created two users. Let me create one more, minimum 3 users, so that I can show you roaming profile how to apply on single user as well as multiple users. So I'll do it 2 times so that you will get the concept quite clearly. Okay. Now let's apply the roaming profile for one user. So select one user, right click. How to apply the roaming profile? First create one empty share folder, uh, make it as a share folder with read write permission to everyone. Then create some new users. Then select the user to whom you want to apply the roaming profile. Select a user, right click properties, go to the profile. So here in the user profile, you have to write the path beginning with a double backward slash, our DC machine name or DC machine IP. Then your share folder where the user data should be stored. So we made the share folder with what name? Roaming. Now for which user you are applying this share folder to store the data in the system one in roaming profile? Whose data should be stored? Which user you have selected, that name. Over roaming profile is apply to R1 user. How to apply? Select the user, right click property, go to the profile. Then in the user profile path, you write DC machine name, your share folder name where the user data should be stored, slash username. Over. Roaming profile applied to the single user. Now let me show you. Now let me show you one more time how to apply the roaming profile for multiple user. So if you want to apply the roaming profile, first select multiple user. Using the control key, select the multiple users. Select the multiple users using the control key, right click, properties, then go to the profile. Then now here same, profile path first option, use under user profile first path, profile path, double backward slash, our DC machine name. My DC machine name is sys1 or 10.1 you can write. My share folder where this user data should be stored. Slash, backward slash you have to use all. Then if it is a single user, that particular username. If it is a multiple user, we have to write percentage. For single user, that name, but for multiple user, percentage. Username, just write username, don't write any username. Percentage, percentage, username, percentage. So whatever user you have selected to those many users, here I selected 2 users. Like this, it can be 200 users. Select them. Then you just write percentage, username, percentage. Apply, okay, over. Roaming profile is applied to multiple user. So we discuss how to apply roaming profile to single as well as multiple users. I hope you understood this. Now do the verification. Now go to the member server, log in as a R1, log in as a R1. Any password I gave? No. So first time you log in, only one icon will be there. So first get the icons, press Windows key, in short, write ICO or icons, then go to the show or hide icons. Check all the boxes. Okay. Now roaming profile. So now here where the user data should be written on the user personal setting folder. Which one is easy to remember? Desktop. Or otherwise, if you can't remember, go to C drive, users, then R1. These are the personal setting folder. On any one of this folder, you can write the data. Okay. So I'll be writing on desktop. So here I created one folder with the name R1 data. Over. Now I will log out. So where this data will be stored? This data will be stored on the server. On the server after the user logout. Now how to check it? So user is created the data from member server. Now the user's data will come to the server because server means our DC machine. Now let me go to this DC machine. Now come to the E drive roaming profile. So now R1 data came. Yes. So here it will be encrypted. So even the admin cannot see. One user cannot see the other user data, including the administrator. But if administrator become the owner, he can see the user data. How to become the owner? You see here. I'm showing you. Select the in the roaming profile. Select the R1 user data, R1 folder to see the R1 data. Right click. Okay, instead of right click, better you do like this. Double click as an administrator if you want to see the user data in the roaming profile. Double click on the username, then click on continue, then click on security tab. Now you go to the advanced, Now here, click on change. Which one is highlighting blue one? That there you go. Then you write the domain administrator name. Domain administrator name. Administrator at the rate this name is verified. Then apply. Okay. Okay. Now you double here and open it. Now here it is asking you, do you want to continue? Yes. Now where he has written the data? In any one of this folder. So we know that he has created here. So go to this. Again, continue same steps. Continue. Double click on that. Continue. Security tab. Then advanced. Then change. Then here I have domain administrator name. Okay. Apply. Okay. Okay. Now you can see here. On the desktop what he has written, you can see. Double click here. So this is how you can see as an administrator. So it is more secure and more better compared to local profile, roaming profile. Okay. So now if you want to do with the another user, you can do now R2. He's also been applied with the roaming profile. Now he's also logging first time. So I'm showing two times so that you'll get a clarity. Then press Windows key. Provide the icons by checking show or hide icons. Check all the boxes. Okay. Now here you write. Now this time R2 data. Okay, fine. Now this user is using which profile, how to check it? Go to the control panel, double click on the control panel to check user is using which profile. In the search of the control panel, you just write roaming. Just write roaming. Better you just write profile. In the search, you just write profile to check. So just if you write open, double click on the control panel. In the control panel search, you write profile. There, here you'll get the option configure advanced user profile property. Click on this, you can check. So user is using which profile? Roaming profile. Clear? Now the R2 data also came here. Once the user R2 log out, his data also will be saved in the server. Where? In the E drive roaming folder. So this is about your roaming profile. Okay. So in the roaming profile, what is the advantage? One user cannot see other user data, and at the same time, if a user login from any machine, he can able to access his data from any machine, because in roaming profile, the user data will be stored on the server. So it is much better than local profile. So every company uses this. But is there any disadvantage is there in the roaming profile? Yes, disadvantage is also there. So this will work quite well if your network or if your number of users are less in number. As your company size getting bigger, or as more number of users simultaneously when they log in and log out, the network will become slower and slower. In roaming profile, what is the disadvantage? When multiple users log in and log out, the network will become slow, because here the server will check for each and every user where they have written the data in 12 folders. Personal setting folder is about 12 folder. So after finding in Desktop also he will check in download, document, favorite, music, in all folder. So when it is checking in 12 folder, the server compulsory will take some time. Meanwhile, if another user log out or log in, it will be waiting in queue. So due to that, the unnecessary trafficking will take place because here the server will check 12 folders. So for that checking that, it will take some time. Meanwhile, if another user log in or log out, that way will be waiting in the queue. So due to that, network trafficking will increase and the network will become slow. This is the first and most biggest drawback with the roaming profile. Network will get slow as the size of our network increases when multiple users log in or log out. Second thing, the compulsory user need to remember that they should write the data in their personal string folder. Then only the data will be saved in the server. Second thing. And the third thing here, administrator default can't see the data. If you become the owner, I have shown you how to become the owner, then he can see. So these are some of the limitations or disadvantage in roaming profile. So all this problem can be overcome by using the home folder. You should not call that as a home profile. It is a separate concept, home folder. Okay. So to overcome what is the disadvantage in roaming profile? The network rate is slower when multiple users log in or log out. So that problem can be overcome by using the home folder. Why the roaming profile network gate is slow? Because the server, when the user log in or log out, for each and every user, the server check the 12 folders, personal setting folders of the user, 12 folders, 12 personal setting folder of the user will be checked in the roaming profile. So when it is checking 12 folder, compulsory it will need some time, it will take some time. So during that time, if another user log in or log out, it will be waiting in queue. So due to that, when multiple users log in or log out, it will be waiting in queue. Due to that, unnecessary networking trafficking will take place. Due to that, network will become slow. So to avoid that, we can go for the home folder. So if you understood this, can I go to the home folder? Yes. Shall we go for the home folder? I didn't get anybody message. Shall we go for the next topic, home folder? Okay. So next concept is home folder. So home folder is also called as network drive or centralized folder. You can also call this as a network folder. Home folder is also called as a network folder. Why it is called network folder, we'll discuss. So home folder is also referred as network. Uh, you can call this as a network drive. So now here you can say this is a network drive. So home folder is also referred as network drive. Why? Home folder is a centralized location where all users data will be stored. So in the home folder, what we will do, we'll create one home folder, just like a normal share folder, and we'll link this share folder to one drive. So we have seen a few days back when we created the home, uh, share folder. Share folder can be accessed by drive letter also, but the drive letter who has created, the user himself has to create. But in the home folder, the user did not need to create the drive. Here the administrator in the server will create one share folder and it will link this share folder to the one drive. So to whoever user the home folder is applied, so those users will get that drive by default. They don't have to do anything. So once the administrator create one share folder and link that share folder to one drive, and to whichever user the home folder is applied, all those users will by default will get the drive which administrator has created in the server. So that's why it is called as a network drive. So now user don't have to remember to write the data in their personal setting folder when the home folder is created. So to whichever user the home folder is created or applied, those users, once they log in, they will get one network drive on their computer. So they should open the computer and they should go to the network drive and write the data on the drive. So once they write the data, immediately the data will come to the server, which admin can see, because now here there are not 12 folders, only one folder. So now the server will not take much time to check the user's data. Immediately it will be saved on the server, which admin can read also. So the compared to the roaming profile, home folder will work much faster. So it can overcome the problem of the slowness of the network. That is the advantage with the home folder. And here the administrator can able to read the user's data without becoming owner. Now with the home folder, the administrator job also become easier. So once the home folder is given to the user, all the user's data will be stored in one folder, in home folder. Whereas in the roaming profile, one user may write the data in download, one user may be writing in desktop, one user may be writing in music. So the administrator has to check all the user personal setting folder before he take the backup. But in home folder, the administrator don't have to check the folders. All the users data will be stored in a single folder, that is home folder. So if the administrator take the backup of home folder, the backup of all users take backup is done. So it makes the administrator job also easier and the user job also easier. Now the user don't have to remember to write the data in their personal setting folder. Once they open the machine, the network drive will appear on their machine, whichever machine they log in. So they should go to the network drive, that is nothing but home folder, and write the data instead of writing their data in the personal string. So immediately the data will be appearing on server. So it becomes easier for user also, for admin also. And the network will not become slow. So that's why mostly we use as what? Home folder. But in home folder, one disadvantage is there. Here, one user can see other user data. So that is the reason the home folder. So to make the home folder, we have to create first share folder. So that share folder should be created with read permission, because in home folder, one user can see other user data. So normally when you are working on some project where one user should see other user data, so you have to go for home folder. And in some scenario, when you don't want one user to see other user data, to them you use the roaming profile, but their network will get slow. So in only in some confidential matter, you have to go for roaming profile. And for rest of the things, because when the users works in the company, they may be not writing the personal things. So where they can see each other data, but they cannot modify and cannot delete one user data, another user cannot modify and delete. They can only see it. So if one user see other user data in certain project, it is important or required, then you do home folder for them. And for others, you apply the roaming profile. But you make sure home folder is applied where you can see where one user sees the other user data, not a problem. And roaming profile should be applied where the secrecy of the data is very important. But that number of users should be less, otherwise your network will become slow. So these are the two things you have to balance it out. So mostly in the companies, either we go for based on requirement, home folder or roaming profile. So now here, everything will become simple in home folder. So shall we see how to make a home folder? So same share folder, you make a folder, share folder with read only permission. Don't give read write and link that folder to one drive. So to whichever user you are giving the home folder, that user will get that network drive. So when the user writes the data, immediately the data will come to the server, which admin can read. So network will not become slow with the home folder. This is the main advantage. But disadvantage, here one user can see other user data. So shall we do the practical of the home folder? Yes, shall we do it? Okay, so I'm getting one call. Please give me a minute. Okay, so you see here how to create a home folder. So to make a folder, to make home folder, just make a in server again in E drive one folder, make it as a shared folder with read permission. Please remember this. Then select the user, right click, same thing, you give the path, but here additionally we have to select one drive letter. So to which user you have selected, to that user drive will appear. Once that user log in from any machine, he will get the drive. He'll open that and write the data, which admin can see it. So this makes everybody job simple and easy. Let us do this. You will understand. So now here I should do everything from DC machine. So I came to the DC machine now. Now go to the E drive. So you can create home folder with any name. For simplicity, I'm using the home folder name also as home. You can also use any other name. Make it as a share folder. Right click, share with specific people. Then give everyone just read permission. Remember, I'm telling you multiple times. Read permission only. Don't give read write. Just give read permission. Home folder is created. Now apply the home folder to the user. So where the users will be there, open the server manager console. Go to the ADUC console through the tools. Now you can apply to this user also or these users. So I'm going to apply this home folder. So I'll do 2 times so that first time single user, second time multiple. Select the single user, right click property, same thing, profile. So for home folder, we have given here, for roaming profile, we have to give the path here. But for home folder, we have to give the path here. It is quite clearly written, home folder. So don't give anything under the home folder on first line. Do it on the second line. Connect. You select any drive letter. You connect any drive letter and just give here the path. So the path will be same like roaming profile. DC machine name, home folder name, their roaming profile folder name, here home folder. So for which user I'm using, selected single user, so single user name. like this. The path is given and that path is linked to the drive. That's why now this user U1, when he log in from any machine, he will get what drive? K drive. Will appear. Now to the U1 K drive will appear. Apply. Okay. Now how to verify it? How to verify it? Go to the member server, log in as a U1, log in as a U1. Now he will be getting one drive. K. So yesterday, if I day before, sorry, few days back, when we make this share folder accessing through drive letter, we have given that path now. So to avoid confusion, I'm just uh, removing it, disconnecting it. So here, this was the for the share folder, and this is for home folder. And you can quite clearly see it. So this home folder is created. This home folder is created in the DC machine. Where it is created? It is created in the E drive. So what is the size of the E drive? Home folder is created in the E drive of the DC machine. So the complete size will be available to each and every user to whom home folder is given. Okay. Now see here. Now if this user U1 open the drive and create some file or folder, he returns some important file here and write something and save it. So he has not logged out, but immediately the administrator can see the U1 data from the home folder. It works so fast. So here admin able to see where the user is created on his machine. On his machine he is created, but the admin can check from his machine. So fast the network will be. This is the advantage. Now I'll do it for multiple users so that you will get a clear idea. So again, I am coming to the DC machine where the domain users will be there in ADUC console. Now apply the home folder to multiple users. So select the multiple user using control key. Select it, right click, properties, then profile. Now home folder, check the box home folder, second line, connect. Which drive letter you want to give, you give it. Now the users, same like a roaming profile paths, this one. Now this time home folder. For multiple user, what you have to write? Percentage username, percentage, apply. Okay. Now how to verify? Go to the second machine, member server, log out from U1. Now this time log in as a U2 because to U2 and U3 we have applied the home folder. Now U2 you log in. Now he will also get a drive letter. Which drive letter he'll get? K. Open the computer or PC. Can you find here? Yes. So he is also getting the complete size. So in the home folder, to whichever user home folder is given. So home folder is created in which drive, that complete drive size will be available to each and every user. So here there is a scope that one user may waste some space because entire this is the space provided from the server hard disk. So if any user is wasting their network drive space, means they are wasting the server hard disk space directly. So if this user also go to his drive and create some data like here U2 important file like that, and he writes some data, immediately once he saved it, immediately this data will come to the server. Immediately this data will come to the server. Where it will come in the server? It will come in the E drive. Home folder is created in E drive. Home folder. Which user data admin want to see? U2. You can see here. So now here, same thing. But here the problem is now U2 can see U1 data. Yes. Now he can able to see the complete path. He can see the path. So he'll go to the run command. He'll type double backward slash DC machine name. Enter. Now the home folder. No, here he is a U2, but he can open U1. Yes, he can see. So can you modify the data? No, he can't. You can just only see it. So this is one problem in the home folder. He cannot save it. Access denied because read permission. Can he delete? Can he delete it? No, he can't delete. One user data cannot be deleted, but he can see. This is one problem. And the other problem is each and every user to whom home folder is provided, everybody will get the complete home folder size of this home folder is created where? In the server. So the complete network drive size of the complete home folder size will be available to each and every user. So if any user wastes their network drive space, means they are directly wasting the server hard disk space. So to prevent the user from wasting the server hard disk space using the home folder, we have a very good service called FSRM. So what is our next topic? So when we provide the home folder, one problem is one user see other user data. Second problem, each and every user will get the complete network drive or the home folder size. So there is a scope that if any there is full space is available. So there is a scope that some users while doing their official work may download some unrequired file and waste the space. So if any user is wasting the network drive space, means they are directly wasting the server hard disk space. Now you will be having the monitoring tool. So now you observe that U1 is wasting the space today. So tomorrow you just call him and warn him, don't waste the space. Then next day also he wasted the space. So to that user, what you can do, instead of giving the full network drive space, we can allocate some limited space. Instead of full space, other users will get full space. The user who is wasting the space, to that user we can allocate some limited or restricted space. So that can be done by using a service called FSRM. So this is the service through which we can control the users from wasting and prevent the user from wasting the server hard disk space by allocating them some limited or restricted home folder or network drive space. So how to do that? We'll see after the break. So shall we have a break? After the break, this service, with the help of this service, how we can allocate limited or restricted space to the user who is wasting the space. To that user, we can allocate some limited or restricted space using the FSRM service. So that we will see after the break. Okay, so we'll have a break now. After the break, we'll continue. Okay, shall we continue now? Yes, shall we continue? Okay. So now, if we have provided the home folder to all the users, so now all the users may be not bad, but one of the user is doing intentionally the wastage of the hard disk space on your first day. You observed it, then you warn him. Second day also, he is doing same thing. So to that user, what you can do, instead of giving him the full space, so all the users in our case, how much home folder they are getting? 10.7. So we can allocate him some limited space like 500 MB, 800 MB. Within that space only he has to work. So that can be done with the service called FSRM. So what is FSRM? File Server Resource Management. It is a service. FSRM is a service through which we can prevent the user from wasting the network drive or home folder space by allocating them limited or restricted space. So that is done with the help of this FSRM service. So I repeat, FSRM is a service through which we can allocate some limited or restricted space to the user in order to prevent the user from wasting the network drive or home folder space. So how it can be done, we will discuss. But the main purpose you should understand. It is a service which is used. It is a service which is used to prevent, the wastage of home folder or network drive space. Home folder is also called as network drive. Home folder or network drive space. How we will prevent is by allocating limited or restricted space to the user who is wasting the space. So this is the concept. So how it can be done, we will discuss now. How it can be done, let us discuss now. So FSRM is a service which is introduced from 2012. It was not there earlier. Means in 2008 it was not there. So this service consists of component. How many components? 5 components. So it provides the component through which we can effectively manage and monitor our server storage capacity. That is our home folder space. So how many components it contains? 5 components through which we can prevent the user from wasting the server hard disk space. So when we install this service FSRM, how many components will get by default? 5 components through which we can effectively monitor and manage the network drive or home folder space. So what are those 5 components? We can see the names here. First component, First component, storage quota management. Second component, file screening management. Third one, storage report management. So practically we will work with these three components. That's why these three components name only is given. But if you want to know the other two component is file management and file classification management. So these are the five components: storage quota management, file screening management, storage report management, file management, classification management. So these are the five components which will be created when we install the FSRM service. So each component work is specific. So each component will do one specific task. So let us discuss them one by one. First, file quota management. First component is file, or you can say, sorry, first component is quota management. So as the name indicate, the first component, which is called quota management, is used to allocate some limited or restricted space. So by default, once we apply the home folder, the complete network drive size will be available to the user. If a particular user is wasting the space, to that user, we can allocate a limited space. So that is done with the first component. Like example, in our case, the size is 10.7. So out of that, I'll allocate him 300 or 500 MB to the U1 who is wasting the space. So this is done with the help of the quota management. So in this, once we have set the limit like 300 or 500, so the user can write the data up to 300 or 500. Yeah. After once it touches the maximum limit, a notification in the form of email or a lock message or a script message, or we can generate this as the admin is generate the report and can check how much space the user has used up. So once the threshold means that limit is reached, notification through the email or lock message or a script message, or we can generate the report and see the usage. So when you are applying this quota management, first you have to create the quota template. So first we have to create quota template. Quota template means how much size we want to give to that user who is wasting the space. So that we have to mention in our quota template. Then on that, after creating the quota template in which we have to mention how much size we want to give to that user who is wasting the space, or how much space we want to allocate to that user who is wasting the space, that we will mention in the quota template. After that, we'll apply the quota. How to do that? We'll see the practical. So this is your first component. So to the first component, what we will do? We'll allocate the limited space. So within that limited space only he will work. He has to work. He will not get the full space. Other users will get. So how much space you want to allocate, you have to mention in the quota template, then apply the quota template. Then after that, you can see here, the user is given 100 MB. So now the U1 user, if he log in from any machine, he will get only 100 MB space. So within that limit only he has to work. Once that limit is touched, he can't write anything. The restriction will be done. So this is what called quota management using the FSRM. This is the first component work. So with the help of the first component, which is quota management, we can allocate some limited or restricted space to the user. Okay, next component. So this is your first component. 1 minute. So this is your first component to which we will allocate the space. Then second component, file screening management. So what it will do, with the help of the file screening management component, we can control the user which type of file he can create and which type of file he can't create. So generally, if you take an example like text file and image file, so which will consume more space? Image file. So for his purpose, image file is not required, but he's regularly creating to waste the space. So what we can do, to the user one, we can block the image file. So he can create text file, but he can't create the image file within that limited space. So first we have to allocate the space, and within that allocated space also which type of things he can do and which type of things he should not able to do, that we can control with the help of the file screening management. So with the help of the second component, we can prevent the user from creating certain type of file which he might be creating to waste the space and which is not required for his work, like image file or mp3 file. So those type of files we can block by using the file screening component. So file screening component is used to prevent the user from creating certain type of file which he may not be required for his work. So suppose example image file. So once the administrator block the image file, now that file comes under unauthorized file. So he can create other type of file but not image file. So if we try to create it, how many times he made the attempt? He can't create, but how many times he made the attempt? And when he made the attempt, we can check that by using the third component, that is storage report management. So with the file screening management, we can prevent the user from creating certain type of file. We can block the user from creating certain type of file. So once we block that user from creating certain type of file, that file comes under unauthorized file. So if the user try to create that file, he can't create. But how many times he made the attempt, when he made the attempt, we can able to check as an administrator by generating the report. That is your third and last component, storage report management. So here the U1 is blocked with MP3 file. So if we log in from any machine, he cannot create MP3 file. If we try to create, he can't. But how many times he made the attempt, we can able to generate the report by using third component. This is your third component. So with the help of the storage report component, as the administrator, we can generate the report and check how many times he did the violation, when he did. Those things we can check with the help of the storage report. So here three things only is required for practical. That's why three things is given. Fourth one is file classification, which can be used to separate different types of files. So if we in the real time we have various types of file, we can separate different types of files by using file classification. And different departments require different types of files. So to provide particular department, particular type of file, we uses file management. But that is not for the MCSE syllabus, so that is not included. Okay. So shall we start the practical? Shall we start the practical? Okay, now see here. So to do this practical, first we have to install the FSRM service. First we have to install the FSRM service. So how to install it? Same like ADDS. Go to the DC machine, open the server manager console, click on add roles and features, click on next 3 times, then expand the files and storage. Under that you expand again files and ISCSI. There you can find FSRM. Check the box, install it. Then 5 components you will see. So go to the first component, first create quota template in which you mention how much size you want to give. Then that user will apply the quota on that template. Now that user will get that much size. Now using the second component, you block the user from creating image file or whichever file you want to block. Now that user cannot create that file. Now how many times he made the attempt, that you can check by generating the report. So these are the things practically we have to do. So let us do it practically now. So I came to the DC machine. So first thing I need to do in DC machine is install the FSRM service. So for that, open the server manager console. Okay. So go to the tools. Then, okay, before going to the tools, first we have to install the FSRM. So here any FSRM service is installed? No. How to install it? Go to the add roles and features. Click on next three times. 1, 2, 3. Now first here, can you find here FSRM name? Can you find here FSRM name? No. So first you have to expand files and storage. Expand files and storage. Then after that you expand files and ISCSI. Expand that. Now can you see here FSRM? Yes. So to install this, check the box. Click on that. Add the features. Then click on next. Install. Now here you can see the services got installed completely. Now the 5 components will be created. So how to check it? Go to the tools. Now can you find here FSRM, File Server Resource Manager? Yes, click on this. Now here you can see 5 components. First, second, 3, 4, 5. So first we'll work on quota management. So before I do that, let us assume our U1 is wasting the space. So I'll go to the member server. And log in as a U1. So how much space the U1 is getting? Same like network drive space. Full space, 10.7, home folder with the drive letter K. Yes. So how much space is getting? 10.7 out of that. 10.1 is free. Now I allocate him 300 MB. So for that, I came to the DC. Already FSRM is installed. So how you will allocate the space? Using the quota management. So first you expand the quota management. So here you can find two things, quota template and quotas. So first we have to create a quota template. So using the quota template, we have to mention how much size we have to give. So select the quota template, right click, then create the quota template. So here we have to write to which user we are blocking the space, U1. Okay. So you can write it. There is no rule it should be written like this or like that. How you can write simple, how you can remember easy, that way you write. So I'm giving how much space? 300 MB space. To which user? M1. U1, sorry. U1 I'm restricting 300 MB of space. So how much space is mentioned here? 100. But how much we want to give? 300. So how much space you want to give? You have to make it here. So here you can see. So 300 MB space I want to give. Hard quota means maximum. Soft means warning limit will get. Restriction will not apply. So hard means restriction will apply. So 300 space I'm giving. So with this quota is created. Quota template is created. So how much size we want to mention, we have mentioned in the template. Now we need to apply the quotas. So to apply the quotas, select the quota, right click, create quota. Now here we have to browse to which user we want to apply the restriction. So first you go to the drive because home folder is in the drive. Then select the home folder. Now select the user, which user you want to block or apply the limited space. So first go to the drive, then home folder, then the username. Now what template you have created here, template is there, no? You have to integrate the user with the template. So that's why first create a template. So which template we have created for U1, you select that under the template. Now click on create. Now the user U1 will get how much space? 300 MB instead of 10.7 GB. Now you can see immediately here. So still it is showing there here. So just log out or just refresh. Now see here how much space you got it. So where it is 10.7 and where is the 300. So can you see now? So this is how you can allocate limited space to the user by using the FSRM service. And within this space also we can control the user, which type of file he can create and which type of file he can't create. So that is done with the help of the second component. What is the second component? File screening management. So have you understood this first component? So if you understood this, I'll show you second component. Yes, have you understood? Yes, have you understood everyone about the first component? Okay, so now I'll start the second component. What is the second component now? Second component. Now second component is file screening management. So by default, file screening management is not configured. File screening management is not configured. So before we apply the file screening, configure it. How to configure it? So select the top site in the FSRM service, first top option, file server resource manager local. So this option you selected to configure the file screening management. Select this, right click. And can you see the option, second option, configure? Click on configure option. Now here, file screening audit. So here notification is under email, but we want to apply file screening. So click on the first tab, file screening audit. Check the box, record the file screening activity, so that as the administrator we can check it and also check it with the generating the report. Okay. So with this file screening is configured. So what I did to configure it, select it, right click, second option, configure it, go to the file screening, record this over. With this, configuration of file screening is done. Now expand the file screening management. So here also first create the template. So in template we have to mention to the U1 which type of file you want to block. So select the file screening template, right click, first option, create the file screening template. Now here we have to write whatever you want to do, write it. Restrict, block, prevent, any word you can write. So I'm taking uh, image file. I'm blocking image file to U1. So these are this many types of files we can block, starting with audio, video, backup, compressed, email, executable image, office file, system file, temporary file, text file, web fetch file. So I'm blocking which file? Image file. So which file you want to block? Check that. After that, you say OK. So now to the user U1 block file will be, image file will be blocked. Oh, a template is created. Now apply the file screening. So select the file screening, right click, First option, create a file screening. Again, first you go to the E drive, then after that go to the home folder. After that, which user you want to block, go there. Then integrate this with the template which you have created. Last one, block image file to U1. Over. Now this user here can create a text file inside the home folder. He can create a text file, but he can't create image file. See here. Now he's trying to create image file. Can you see here? Bit image. Yes. Can he create? Now see here. How many times I'm doing violation? You see here. One time. Now you wait for a few seconds, because when you are checking through the third component by generating the report, you can see the gap between the first violation and second violation. So that's why I'm just waiting for a few seconds so that we can clearly see the gap between the first violation and second. So now again, I'm clicking on try again. So I did 2 times violation. Now I can check it. So to check it, again, we need to go to the DC machine. Now the third component, storage report management. So from here, we can generate the report. So how to generate the report? Storage report management, right click. Third option, generate the report now. Everything is written in the notepad file. Third, now here, go to the setting. So which type of thing you want to observe? File screening. We block the image file which comes under file screening. Check the box. Under setting, check the box. Then after that, go to the scope. Go to the scope. Then add for which user you want to see. So first you have to go to the E drive. Go to the E drive. So click on add. Go to the E drive. Then under the E drive, go to the home folder. After that, user. Okay. Now you can able to generate the report. Do you want to generate the report now? Yes. Okay. Generate it. Now it is generating the report. Now click on the HTML document. Double click here. So can you see the violation? Yes. So see here, first violation occurred on 5:43 8 second. Second violation 5:43 29 second. So the gap of about 19 seconds. So here for one violation, it's showing 4 times because our OS is not genuine. If you pirated OS we are using. So here for one violation, it's showing 4 times. So that's why I have kept some gaps so that you can clearly understand. 2 violation done. This is one. So which type of violation here? Bit image file. For which user? U1, because it was blocked. But he tried to create this and so time. So I hope you understood this concept. Yes, is it clear? How to allocate the space, how to restrict the file, particular file, and once it is done, if a user try to create, you can generate the report and check it. So this is how you can work on the FSRM. Okay. So with this, we have completed this FSRM service. Then tomorrow we are going to work on the next concept. What is the next concept? OU. So tomorrow we are going to work on, see, so we have completed FSRM under the profile. So tomorrow we'll proceed with what? OU, organizational unit. That will be tomorrow's session. So before I close the session, please tell me if you have any doubt, any question, please ask. Yes, any questions, any doubt? Okay, can I close the session then? Can I close the session? Okay, I'm closing the session. See you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. I'm closing the session.